Welcome to today's Face the Facts Friday. Our top stories this week. Sick Fauci experiments on puppies shock the public. Humans breastfeeding from humans freaks people out. A celebrity goes after vegans. Burger King goes veggie. Some interesting stories about animals now being treated like people. And finally, we'll finish with the meat flakes of the week, where I'll respond to some of the dumbest shit I've seen from meat eaters over the last week. So definitely stick around for that. Tell me you're ready to start this week's Face the Facts Friday by liking the video right now, and let's kick off with the first story. Investigators have exposed the Fauci-led National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, or NIAID, for ordering horrific drug test experiments on puppies, on beagle puppies. These guys were repeatedly injecting these beagle puppies with these experimental drugs and force feeding them as well. Not only that, the researchers slit the puppies' vocal cords so they could stop them crying and howling and barking and keep them silent. The same researchers have recently been exposed for putting beagle dogs, putting their heads in these things and allowing these flies to bite them to get parasites in them. When the research was done, they killed them and dissected them for more testing. Honestly, I can't believe this situation. I can't believe people are so upset about this. Like, that's what these dogs were bred for. This is their purpose. If they weren't in that testing facility, what else would they be doing? There are so many dogs on the planet, guys. Like, why would we not use them as a resource? If we don't do this, they'll overpopulate and take over. There's just so many reasons to do this to them, you know? And at the end of the day, guys, it's the circle of life. We are superior. We are the superior species. So we can do whatever we want to the other animals, including what happened in these studies, in the research. Why wouldn't we? They're just animals. How's all of that sounding to you? Pretty fucked up, right? If you're using any of those arguments that I just gave to justify doing horrible shit to pigs, cows, chickens, or any other animal for a fucking sandwich, I hope now you're realizing, and there's no nice way to say this, that you're a fucking hypocrite. What Fauci's team did to those dogs is absolutely disgusting. I agree with you. But if you say that it's absolutely disgusting and then you go home and eat the bodies of other animals because you like how they taste, what are you doing? It's easy to stand against what Fauci's team did to those animals. It's easy to be against that. But it's much harder to stand against the masses and defend the billions and billions of animals that are being killed every single day for you to eat a sandwich. So be consistent. Don't be hypocritical. Stand against all of these wrongdoings to animals. Go vegan and start speaking up about it. Go vegan and stop funding the absolute hell that other animals are going through that, trust me, is either the same or worse than what those dogs went through. What those dogs went through is absolutely horrendous, but most people are against that. Well, most people are paying for the other animals to go through an equal hell. There's a link to a free vegan starter pack in the pinned comment. There's also a link to a PETA campaign to get Biden to get someone better in a better position to run this institute of whatever it is, the infectious disease thing, whatever it is. They want to get someone better who's more conscious of the animals to run that shit and not Fauci. So go and sign that as well. That link is in the pinned comment as well. The same people who got offended by the dogs in this story will most likely be getting offended by the next story as well, whilst munching on animals and drinking breast milk. Because our next story is about a new TV series called Breastfeeding My Boyfriend. Apparently it's a look at the taboo surrounding adult breastfeeding, exploring a growing underground scene that ranges from women producing milk for their partners to the lucrative lactating porn industry. One of the people in the series said that the practice is the perfect foreplay for her and her boyfriend, and that she missed breastfeeding her 2 children once they grew up. She missed it. Okay. Another couple said they were doing A&R, which is adult nursing relationship, and typically breastfeeding 3 to 5 times a day because they enjoyed it. Yeah, okay. If that floats your boat, who are we to judge? But people are judging, and people are upset about it. Like, Twitter has been going absolutely mad with all people like crying about it, complaining about it, all this stuff, saying it's whatever, crazy, and just people are getting very upset about it. Okay, the viewers aren't happy. The funny thing is that you know damn well that every single person freaking out about these consenting human adults deciding to suckle on each other's titties, everyone who's getting upset about that is drinking cow's breast milk. How can you not see this hypocrisy? How can you think that paying farmers to forcibly impregnate cows by artificial insemination, shoving hands inside them, shoving needles inside them, separating them from their babies, milking them, and then sending them to a slaughterhouse to be killed when they're finished with them? How can you be okay with all of that so you can breastfeed from cows as an adult, but you're not okay with consenting adult humans who decide to do it because they get a kick out of it? They're breastfeeding from each other because they get a kick out of it. How is the adult human breastfeeding from the other adult human consenting? How is that a problem? But all of that shit that I just said that you pay to happen to cows, that to you is not a problem. And that's totally normal to breastfeed from another mammal, another species of mammals, an adult human. How is that normal? In what world is that normal? This one, apparently, because people are fucking mental. Who gives a shit if humans want to breastfeed from humans? What problem are they posing? Who are they harming? They're harming no one. If they get off on that, they get off on that. Go for it. If you have a problem with the consenting adults, but you don't have a problem with the non-consenting cow who gets forced into that industry, what planet do you live on? Come on, people, come on. But humans just love breastfeeding, don't they, from animals? They just love it. And killing them as well, and using them, doing whatever they can so they can get their pleasure from those animals, right? It's what people do. And Nigella Lawson is one of these people. She's one of these selfish pieces of shit, too. She's been in the news this week chatting shit about veganism. Headlines going around are saying that Nigella Lawson only managed 2 weeks of a vegan diet and says she doesn't see the point of ditching animal products. She said this last Sunday or whatever it was that she gave veganism a go, but cracked due to a craving for eggs. Said, I couldn't be vegan, though I do love vegetables. I don't see the point. I'm very happy to not eat so much meat, but I do love it. I'm also in a privileged position, and I get great salt-aged beef or lamb, so I never like to lecture people. I felt very run down, and I'm low iron anyway, so I needed it. She wants to be able to eat proper food and believes human beings are designed to eat meat. She said, I feel that we have the teeth for meat, and so it's natural for us to want to eat it. I know it's an argument that vegans disagree with, so I respect that position, but I feel I'm not ready. What is that load of nonsense? We have teeth for meat. Have you looked at other animals that are actually carnivorous or omnivorous and how their teeth look? Nigella, little hint, they're not like your teeth. These little things, they're tiny, they're tiniest little canine teeth. They're not for ripping into animal flesh. If you think they are, you're misguided at best and you're ignorant at worst. And I would say most likely she's ignorant. She knows damn well her little tiny little canines are not for ripping into animal flesh. She's just looking for any excuse to not be vegan because she's a selfish piece of shit. We've got a couple more stories, then it's time for our meat flakes of the week. If you're enjoying this video, let me know in a comment right now. Let's continue. Burger King has opened its apparent first ever vegetarian restaurant. I say apparent because they've done this kind of veggie Burger King before, so I'm not sure why people are saying it's the first one. But apparently they're doing this to reach both people who base their diet on vegetable products and those who do eat meat but who want to reduce their consumption. And it's been opened in Madrid, Spain. It will serve exclusively vegetarian food for 1 month. So it's not even a permanent state. It's just a 1 month vegetarian restaurant. They're serving non-vegan items. Apparently you can switch out the non-vegan mayonnaise for vegan mayonnaise, but yeah, it's not really even it's not a fully plant-based restaurant. I mean, these are kind of a love-hate for me because Burger King is not going anywhere, right? We know that. It's not going anywhere. The next best thing for it to do would be for it to go vegan if it's not going to go anywhere. I'm never going to buy from there because I think the company's an unethical piece of shit company. But I do like to see that they are doing fully plant-based stores. If they are doing fully plant-based stores, this one isn't a fully plant-based store, but people seem to be really happy about it. I don't know, guys. As I said, it's a love-hate. I'd rather Burger King didn't exist full stop, but we're never going to get that. So in a way, I am kind of happy that this is like a step in the right direction. I mean, it's better than them doing nothing. I just hope that you as vegans aren't tricked into thinking that this makes them any kind of good company. They're not a good company. They're a piece of shit company. Don't give them your money. Some interesting news coming from Spain, as Spain has just granted shared custody, joint custody of a dog, giving the dog more of a right than dogs usually get in Spain or in the law. Dogs are usually seen as products or things, like items to be owned, but actually this dog in this case has been seen as almost like a person because they've been given joint custody, like two people are sharing custody of an animal just like they would of a child. Spain apparently is currently drafting this new legislation to consider animals as living beings legally and not as objects, and this case actually plays into that. So that's a pretty huge thing, and hopefully it has some impact on bullfighting as well, because if animals are now in Spain being considered as not as objects and as actual living beings, then that hopefully will trickle down to the bullfighting and get that shit banned. Because if they consider them as living beings, you can't bloody do that to them, can you? You can't put them in a ring and fucking force them to fight and then kill them. So, looking good. And in a similar story coming out of Colombia, actually, where Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos have been ruled as people by the US courts. They've been recognized as legal people. This is the first time in the USA that this has happened. They've done this so they can control what happens to them, as currently they're not in the US, but the US wants to try and help them, basically, because these are Pablo Escobar's old pet hippos, so they've been breeding, and they've now got a lot of them. I think it's like over 100 of them. They're expecting them to be even more, like they're breeding at a pretty rapid rate. That where they are currently, the local government is talking about culling them, but the US government is stepping in and saying, no, don't kill them. And to ensure that this doesn't happen, they have granted them legal personhood status. This is as far as I'm understanding it. So it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty big move to protect animals, to give them personhood so that they can represent themselves in court. This is the idea that they're now able to be represented in court as legal persons. Maybe someone who understands law more can let me know in the comments a little bit more in depth about what all means, but it sounds pretty good to me. So that's some pretty awesome news, right? All right, it's that time of the week. It's time for our meat flakes of the week.
It's time for meat flakes of the week.
David Rams is the male Karen. Yeah, good one. Cry about it, loser. Yeah, I don't think making YouTube videos isn't crying. It's actually when you actually take some time out and plan and script a video and then film it and then edit it and color correct and all those things and then upload it and then hopefully influence people. It's you don't just sit around and cry. That's not what happened. It's not what happened, Shuggy. Stop the nonsense. Being vegan is ridiculous. Just do not eat more than you need. Animals eat animals, fools. It's always with the fools. They always say fool, but the irony is that the comment is always really foolish. The ones who call someone else a fool, though, usually have the most foolish comments. Yeah, do not eat more than you need. I agree with you. Don't eat more than you need, but especially don't eat dead animals, or don't pay people to kill and use animals when you don't need to do that, do you? Pretty simple stuff. I love animals. They are delicious. You need some sun and protein. You look like a Twilight character. And once again, we see someone with a profile picture where you can't tell who they are commenting on someone else's appearance. It's pretty common, and it's only these absolute cowards that do it. Very, very rarely do you ever see someone commenting on someone else's appearance where they actually have a photo of themselves clearly in their profile picture, because at the end of the day, these people are absolute fucking cowards. Did your ancestors never eat meat? Shut up. Shut the fuck up, Charlie. No, yeah, my ancestors did eat meat. Yeah, my ancestors also probably raped each other. I'm talking way back, not like my mum and dad or something. All of our ancestors were doing loads of shit that we never would do. They also didn't use phones. They probably didn't wash very much. They didn't do a lot of things. But I'm not going to act the way they acted because they were less civilized, less educated. I'd like to consider myself as more of those things than my ancestors, as I'm sure you would, Charlie. I mean, your hair's straight. Did your ancestors straighten their hair? Don't think so. So why are you straightening your hair then? Your ancestors didn't do it. Point is, don't copy what your ancestors did or didn't do. Do things based on the knowledge you have today. And the knowledge you have today tells you you don't need to use or abuse or kill or anything to animals to be healthy. So live that way instead. Not the way your ancestors did, because that's back then. This is now. It's not rocket science, everyone. You are a fucking fake blogger. I'm not a blogger. I'm a YouTuber. And how can you be a fake blogger? Is it like if you pay someone to write your blogs for you and then you take all the credit and it's like you're a fake blogger? Is that what does it even mean? Why are you cring, fool? Again, Guys, always the ones calling me a fool or calling you a fool who can't spell, right? I guess it's supposed to say crying. Yeah, no one's crying here, mate. Apart from you, actually, in the comment section. Ooh, why are you telling me these things about animals? Western are totally stupid. That's rich coming from an Indian. How could you say that? No, you see, exactly. I didn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But apparently it's okay to say this kinds of things about Westerners, right? It's okay to apparently insult white people and Westerners and make racist comments, but you can't say it back, guys. Remember, only white people you're allowed to offend with things like this and say things like all Westerners are stupid and stuff like that. If you're white, you're fair game. If you look like me, it's okay. If you look like any other shade that's not like me, it's not okay. So if I go inside a vegan home and take photos, is that okay? I just wonder. This idiot is responding to the vegans who went inside a farm to expose what's going on inside the farm in a video I made about it. Now he's like, if I go inside a vegan home, then... Well, yeah, if you knew that vegans inside that home were abusing animals and you wanted to expose what they were doing to animals, and you wanted to go inside and take photos and expose it, you would be justified in doing that. Yes, of course you would, because you would be rescuing someone, you'd be saving someone's life. Is it justified to go into someone's home who is beating their wife to stop him from beating his wife? Yes, it's justified. You go in and stop that violence from happening. You would be totally justified in doing that. These farmers are abusing animals. They're abusing animals, and even worse, they're getting paid for it and supported by the government. So when you go in, it's even more important because you need to expose to the public what the public is paying for and what the government supports. Let me know you enjoyed this week's Face to Facts Friday by subscribing to the channel right now. And if you like my content, check the pinned comment for a link to my Patreon team where you can get exclusive content for only $1 a month. That's a fair deal, isn't it? You give me $1, I give you exclusive content. You support the channel, I'm able to do more of this work, and you get stuff that will never be posted on YouTube. I think that's an amazing deal. Keep calling out the bullshit, and I'll see you all in the next video.